Hello guys, welcome to the channel. I'm here next to my abandoned Corvette. It's been sitting here for a while. Alright, for those of you that are new to the channel and didn't see the last video, pretty much what happened is one of my lifters failed. It spun in the wrong position, destroyed my cam, which sent a lot of metal shavings through the oil and pretty much destroyed my whole engine. It got taken away from me pretty early. I wanted to have more fun with it, create more content, but we're still getting content out of it. This is not the type of content that I wanted to do. If I would have gotten any other car, I can assure you that it'd probably be running right now. If I would have gotten an RX-7, it would still be running. If I would have gotten a boosted BRC, it'd probably still be running, but the car that I was least expecting to break is the one that broke, and that's just how it goes. It's been a couple months since the vehicle was parked here to begin with. By the time these videos go up, they're gonna be released in sequence, so it's gonna look like it didn't take that long, but it's been months in between doing all the research, getting all the right tools, and just getting free time to work on this vehicle is what took the longest out of the whole process. It's been sitting here for a while. As you can see, it's very dusty, but I'm excited to get it back in the road. The goal is to get it ready before my birthday, which is coming up in October. And it's funny because I bought this car in my birthday, and then ever since then it hasn't been running pretty much, so it's almost gonna be another year of the vehicle not running. I spent a lot of time taking the engine out of the vehicle. It wasn't as hard to do it once everything was out of the way, which in this vehicle everything has to come out in order to take out the cams pretty much, and the lifters. So I'm going to show you the footage of me actually taking out the engine. Doing the engine hoist through the side, it's going to be a lot easier since the hood is really long in this vehicle. So that's what I'm going to try to do now, because I wasn't able to do it before. This how the engine hoist actually digging into the bumper. That's what we're going to try now, and we'll see if we can get it out. Do you guys really think it was going to be that easy? Of course not. Never is. Working on cars is so much fun. Yay! But yeah, no, didn't happen. Probably going to happen tomorrow. Probably not. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep trying until the engine is out of the car for sure. Okay guys, so just like I suspected, the drain plug and the oil pan are hitting in the subframe, so I'm actually going to have to drop it all the way down by removing the control arms, the shock, and loosening the bolts that hold the subframe. It's separated from the bell housing that holds the torque tube, so it should be ready to come out as soon as I can get some clearance over here. Alright, taking off the control arms now so we can pull the subframe down, get the motor out. Alright, looks like the subframe is finally coming down, so that should give us enough clearance. It's finally coming out. I'm gonna let it drain for a little bit. It took a little bit longer than I was anticipating, as usual, because with this car everything's a pain in the ass, and even though it was painful to work in this car, it was a learning experience for me. There was a lot of things that I learned. I went through a lot of forums, I did a lot of research, learned a lot of things about the LS engines. They're pretty simplistic, parts are pretty affordable, and you can find them anywhere, so that's the good thing about LS engines. Even a noob like me can work on these cars just by looking at the forums. Okay, so it took a lot just to get to this point, and right now I'm contemplating my whole life. It doesn't really make sense to put this much money and effort into materialistic things, but also I can't go back to being slow again, so I gotta see this thing through, and I gotta stay motivated to get this job done. It was a little bit more messier than I was expecting. I found a lot of oil leaks, the motor mounts were busted, a lot of bearings went bad, so we're gonna take care of all of that as well. Just look how dirty everything is. Definitely gonna need some cleaning. Okay, so another thing I'm sure it's not supposed to be like this is this bearing right here, the throwout bearing. Just listen to this. Yeah, I think definitely messed up as well, so gonna be replacing this as well. Another part to order. Now that we have the engine out of the car, it's actually easier to show you the bearing damage. There's a front bearing that has a big groove going across it. Back ones are also harder to see, but you can also tell that they're a little bit scored and they have the same type of damage. Alright, so I'm gonna be taking this block and sending it out to a machine shop so they can fix the cam bearings and inspect the rest of the bearings to see what else needs to be replaced.
So what are we doing, bro?
Right now I'm installing the LS7 or LS style plate to lift up the engine. Put it over there where we're gonna rebuild it. Right on that engine stand right there. Our imaginary engine stand that we don't have. We just got the engine back after like 2 months of it getting rebuilt. So now it's go time. Freshly rebuilt engine. Aluminum LS3. Just give us a little moment. Give me a little moment with my engine. Give us a little bit of privacy. The reason why it took a little bit longer is because we were waiting on ARP bolts. I ordered ARP bolts for everything, the rods, the mains, and I also ordered race spec bearings for the journals and for the crankshaft, which is gonna make this a little bit more reliable if we're gonna be pushing for power. But yeah, this engine is like freshly rebuilt. The piston rings have been replaced. The cylinders were honed and remachined. The crank was also polished. I also took advantage of this time to resurface my flywheel. So this engine is back to 0 miles, so now I have to break it in before I can even tune it. But before all of that, I gotta put it all back together and slap it in the car, which is gonna take another few months, I guess. Hopefully not. Okay, so the machine shop gave me back all my old bearings, and man, those bearings were messed up. They did not like my glittery oil. Those cam bearings have way more scratches than a layback look DJ said. I'm not even kidding. And those rod bearings are way more damaged than my mental and financial stability after this build. And those main caps deteriorated worse than my mental health after working on this car for so many hours. It's a good thing I didn't just ship it and throw a cam in it, because the engine definitely needed to be rebuilt. So I definitely went the right way. What the f is saving that?
Daddy, chill.
The scratches on these bearings are pretty deep. There was no way to reuse this bearing. If I would have reused this bearing, I would have had a really bad time. Okay, so one thing that I want to do is I want to open up the oil pump and inspect the internals inside the oil pump to make sure that nothing is severely damaged or has any abnormal wear. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up and we'll inspect it. Oh man, this thing's not looking so good. You can see the wear already on the cover. There's a lot of wear right here. There's a bit of a heat spot right here as well. I'm not seeing little particles in there, but there is wear on the gears. Try to get a different angle right here. This pump is done. I'm gonna have to replace it as well. So I just got the block with me, but it's gonna take a little bit of time for me to reassemble it because I'm still waiting on a few parts that I didn't order correctly. And now that I know what parts to order, it's gonna take a little bit of time to get them. Since this is gonna be a new engine, it still has to be broken in, so I have to drive it easy for like 500 miles and then do the oil changes constantly. And then after the 500 miles of breaking it in, I can actually get the engine tuned. So we might even do more performance upgrades before getting it on the dyno. But as of now, I'm just trying to get it running. I'm just trying to get everything back together. So you're gonna see that in the next couple of videos as well. Thank you guys for attending today. My name is NSA Vet, and this was my TED Talk about why you shouldn't buy a Corvette. Or if you're gonna buy a Corvette, make sure to be ready to work on it. It looks beautiful though. It looks so sexy. I can't help it. Look at these curves. Now let's start building this freaking engine.
As you guys can see, there is a lot going on, but it's all part of the progress. Maya looks confused.
I don't remember where anything goes. I'm gonna get lost in this house.